It's late at night. The house is quiet. You're settling in for bed, and then you see it. Your dog is sitting completely still in the middle of the room. Their head is tilted slightly. Their eyes are locked on a blank, empty wall. They don't move. They don't blink. They just stare. And for a moment, something inside you wonders what they're seeing that you can't. Most owners brush it off. They convince themselves it's nothing, a weird habit, a random moment. They tell themselves dogs do strange things sometimes. But here's the truth. When your dog stares at the wall, especially at night, they're not just being weird. They're not seeing ghosts. They're not imagining things. There's a real scientific reason behind that frozen gaze, and it's something almost no owner ever takes seriously. What you're about to hear will change the way you look at that quiet stare forever. Some of it will surprise you. Some of it will calm a fear you didn't even know you had. And one thing toward the end will explain something that might be happening in your home tonight without you ever realizing what it really means. So stay with me until then, because this matters more than most people think. Let's start with what your dog is actually sensing. 1. They're hearing something you can't. Here's the first thing that will surprise you. The most common reason a dog stares at a wall isn't supernatural. It isn't mysterious. It's simply this. They're hearing something on the other side of that wall that your ears cannot detect. Dogs hear in a completely different range than humans do. While people can pick up sound frequencies between roughly 20 Hz and 20,000 Hz, dogs can hear up to 65,000 Hz. That's more than 3 times the human range. This means your dog is picking up entire layers of sound that exist in your home every single day, and you have no idea they're there. The faint electrical hum behind a wall outlet, the high-frequency whine of an aging appliance, the tiny scratching of an insect inside the drywall, the almost inaudible ticking of a clock in the next room, the distant footsteps of someone walking outside 3 houses away, even the high-pitched vibration of a streetlight you can't see. To you, the wall is silent. To your dog, that wall is alive with information. And here's the strange part. At night, when the rest of your home goes quiet, those subtle sounds become so much easier for your dog to focus on. There's less background noise, less distraction. The world becomes a quieter canvas, and the smallest sound suddenly stands out. So when you see your dog frozen in front of a wall after dark, the most likely explanation is that they are tracking a sound. They aren't seeing something, they're listening to something. And their entire body is locked into focused concentration because they're trying to figure out exactly what it is. This is also why your dog might suddenly look up from their food, lift their head while resting, or stop mid-walk and freeze. They're not being random. They've caught a sound thread in the air and they're following it. Once you understand this, that quiet wall staring stops looking strange. It starts looking like exactly what it is. A dog doing their job, listening to a world you'll never fully be able to hear. 2. They smell things through walls. Now, here's something even more remarkable. Your dog isn't just listening through that wall. They might be smelling through it too. A dog's sense of smell is so powerful that scientists have struggled for decades to fully understand how it works. While humans have around 6 million scent receptors in their noses, dogs can have up to 300 million. That makes their sense of smell tens of thousands times more powerful than yours. But the part most people don't realize is how scent travels. Smells move through air currents. They drift under doors. They seep through small cracks in walls. They cling to fabric and wood and drywall. They linger in spaces long after their source has moved on. Your home is constantly filled with invisible scent trails that flow through every room, around every corner, and through every gap in the structure. To your dog, the air in your house is a constantly shifting map of information. When your dog stares at a wall, especially in a corner or near a baseboard, they may have caught a scent thread that doesn't belong. A small animal that passed by the outside of the house, a spider building a web behind the wall, an old crumb that fell into a hidden gap, a mouse that nests in the attic above. You won't see any of this, you won't smell any of it, but your dog catches the faintest hint and their brain immediately tries to process it. Their nose works like a detective searching for clues. They look at the wall because that's the closest point to the scent source. They freeze because their entire body is focused on identifying what they've picked up. They tilt their head because they're trying to triangulate where it's coming from. It's not strange behavior, it's investigation, and it's happening so quickly inside their brain that to you, it just looks like staring. The next time you see your dog locked onto a wall, watch their nose. Look for the tiniest twitch, the smallest sniff, the slight movement of their nostrils. That's the real reason they're frozen. They're not lost in thought. They're solving a mystery you can't even see. And hey, if any of this is starting to make sense of moments you've seen with your own dog, hit that like button and subscribe. It's the best way to help us reach more dog owners who actually want to understand what their dog is trying to say. We've got more sections coming, including one toward the end that explains something most owners genuinely need to hear about wall staring. Let's keep going. 3. It might be a phantom sense. Now this part is fascinating, and most people have never heard of it. Dogs, like humans, can experience something called sensory memory. It's the brain's ability to recall a sensation that isn't actually happening in the moment. For humans, this might be the feeling of phantom vibrations from a phone that isn't there, or hearing a familiar voice in a quiet room, or smelling a long-gone meal in a kitchen. The brain creates a brief sensory impression based on memory rather than reality. Your dog's brain does the same thing. If your dog has spent years in your home, they have built up a deep mental archive of every sight, sound, and smell that has ever existed in that space. The mailman who used to walk by at 3 in the afternoon, the cat that lived next door years ago, the specific creak of a door that no longer makes that sound. Even after the source is long gone, your dog's brain can sometimes light up that old memory just from a similar trigger. A passing car at the wrong hour, a faint smell drifting in, a creak that sounds almost the same. And suddenly your dog is standing in the middle of the room, staring at a spot on the wall where something used to happen. Researchers studying canine cognition have found that dogs have remarkable long-term memory, especially for emotional or sensory events. They remember favorite people years after losing touch with them. They remember houses they lived in as puppies. They remember the spot where they used to wait for someone who isn't coming back. So when your dog stares at a wall, sometimes they're not responding to something happening now. They might be responding to something that used to happen. A ghost of a sound, a trace of a scent, an echo of a memory. It's not haunting in the supernatural sense. It's haunting in the deepest emotional sense. Because your dog remembers things you've forgotten. And sometimes that memory shows up as a quiet moment in front of a wall. 4. They might be tracking insects or rodents. Here's a far more practical explanation that every owner needs to take seriously. If your dog stares at a wall consistently in the same spot or in the same room, you might have an actual visitor inside the walls of your home that you don't know about. Dogs detect small animals long before humans ever notice them. The faint scratching of a mouse moving through insulation, the vibration of an insect colony building inside drywall, the whisper of a rat's footsteps in the space above a ceiling, the shifting of a bird's nest near a vent, the buzzing of bees behind a wall panel. Your dog can hear all of it, and once they lock onto that sound, they will not let it go. This is one of the most overlooked signals dogs give their owners. People think their dog is being odd, when in reality, the dog has identified a real problem inside the house.
Pest control professionals will tell you they regularly get calls from people who finally investigated because their dog wouldn't stop staring at one specific wall. If your dog stares at a particular spot night after night, especially the same wall or corner, take it seriously. Walk over and listen. Check for any signs of damage, droppings, or chew marks near the baseboards. Touch the wall. If it feels warm in an unusual spot, you might have a hidden colony of something living there. Your dog isn't malfunctioning. They're alerting you. They've been telling you something is wrong with the structure of your home, and most owners spend years ignoring the message. In nature, dogs evolved to be highly attuned to prey movement. That instinct didn't disappear when they moved into our homes. Now they apply it to whatever small creature is sharing your space without your knowledge. The next time your dog locks onto a wall and refuses to move, don't dismiss it. Look at what they're looking at. Listen for what they're hearing, because more often than people realize, the dog is right.
5. It could be a medical sign. Now, this is the part of the video that every owner needs to pay close attention to. While most wall staring has a perfectly normal explanation, sometimes it can be the earliest sign of a medical issue, especially in older dogs. This isn't said to scare you. It's said because catching these signs early can make an enormous difference for your dog. Here are the main medical conditions that can cause wall staring or unusual fixation. The first is canine cognitive dysfunction, often called dog dementia. This affects older dogs and is very similar to Alzheimer's in humans. Dogs with cognitive decline may stand in the middle of a room and stare at nothing in particular. They may walk into corners and forget how to turn around. They may seem disoriented in familiar spaces. Wall staring can be one of the earliest signs. The second is vision loss. As dogs age, their eyes may struggle to focus, or their vision may dim in ways they can't communicate to you. A dog staring at a wall might be trying to make sense of something they can no longer see clearly. The third is seizure activity. Some dogs experience focal seizures, which are partial seizures that don't involve full-body convulsions. Instead, the dog might appear to zone out, stare at a fixed point, or freeze for a few seconds at a time. This kind of seizure can look exactly like wall staring. The fourth is pain or discomfort. Dogs often retreat into stillness when they don't feel well. Standing quietly and staring at a wall can be a coping mechanism, similar to how a person might sit very still when they're not feeling right. If your dog has suddenly started wall staring when they never used to, if they seem confused, disoriented, or unresponsive when it happens, if the staring lasts longer than a few minutes, if they don't respond to their name or to gentle touch during the episode, these are all signs that a vet visit is absolutely worth considering. Don't panic. Most wall staring is completely normal. But the dog who is showing you something new, something different, something that doesn't fit their usual personality, is a dog asking you to pay attention. You know your dog better than anyone. If something feels off, trust that instinct. It might be nothing, but if it's something, catching it early is the most loving thing you can do. 6. They sense things in your home that you don't. Now here's something that gets into a slightly stranger area, but it's grounded in science. Dogs are extremely sensitive to environmental changes that humans don't consciously notice. Air pressure shifts before a storm, electromagnetic fluctuations from appliances, subtle vibrations in the floor from faraway construction, the faint movement of curtains caused by an air current, temperature changes between rooms, the slow shifting of a house settling at night. To you, the house is still. To your dog, it's constantly in motion. This is why some dogs become restless before earthquakes, why they pace before thunderstorms, why they suddenly look up at the ceiling for no reason you can see, why they seem alert to things that to you simply aren't there. When your dog stares at a wall, they may be responding to a tiny shift in the environment that your brain isn't equipped to register. A creaking from the foundation settling,
a faint vibration from the heating system clicking on in another room, the shifting air patterns that move through your home every time someone breathes nearby. Some researchers have even theorized the dogs can detect static electricity in the air, which builds up before lightning strikes or sudden weather changes. This might be why your dog occasionally becomes still and watchful for no reason you can pinpoint. And here's where it gets really interesting. Studies have shown that dogs can sense changes in the magnetic field of the Earth itself. They may align their bodies along the north-south axis when they relieve themselves. They may seem to know which direction home is from miles away. They may pick up on subtle geomagnetic shifts that we humans don't even consciously experience. Your dog lives in a world rich with information that we simply cannot access. So when they stare at a wall, they aren't being weird. They're not being random. They are being a dog. And dogs perceive a reality that runs far deeper than the one we walk around in every day. That stillness isn't emptiness. It's awareness on a level humans rarely glimpse. 7. When it becomes a warning sign. Now, here's the part of the video that I want every dog owner to hear carefully. And this might be the most important section. Most wall staring is completely normal. We've covered all the everyday reasons. But there is one situation where wall staring becomes a real warning. And it's something most owners never learn to recognize until it's too late. The warning sign is this: a sudden, dramatic change in your dog's behavior. If your dog has never been a wall starer and suddenly they're doing it every single night, if they used to be social and engaged, and now they're spending hours standing motionless in front of one specific spot, if they seem disconnected, distant, or no longer responsive to their name, this is not a quirk. This is a message. Behavioral changes are often the very first sign that something is shifting inside your dog's body or mind. Long before physical symptoms appear, long before you'd ever know something is wrong, your dog's behavior begins to change in small, subtle ways. The dog who suddenly retreats, the dog who stops greeting you at the door, the dog who used to follow you everywhere but now sits alone in a quiet room, the dog who stares at walls when they never did before. These dogs are telling you something they can't say with words. Sometimes the cause is physical, pain, illness, the beginning of cognitive decline. Sometimes the cause is emotional, stress, anxiety, a traumatic event you may not have noticed. Sometimes the cause is environmental, a change in the home that's disturbing them, a new sound, a new presence, a new pet, a new schedule. The point is this: pay attention to changes. A dog who has always done something has a reason. A dog who suddenly starts doing something new also has a reason, and those reasons matter, even when they seem small. Your dog is constantly communicating with you, sometimes through their eyes, sometimes through their body, and sometimes through quiet moments in front of a wall. If anything about your dog's behavior has changed recently, write it down, track it, mention it to your vet. The earlier you notice these shifts, the more you can help. Because your dog spends their entire life paying attention to you, the least we can do is pay the same attention back. If this video helped explain something you've seen with your own dog, drop a comment below and tell me what your dog does that you've always wondered about. Maybe they stare at walls. Maybe they tilt their head at certain sounds. Maybe they freeze for no reason you can figure out. Tell me. I read every single comment. And if you want to keep understanding your dog on this deeper level, subscribe to Dog's Tongue. New videos every week, helping you hear what your dog has been trying to tell you all along. So the next time you walk into a quiet room and find your dog frozen in front of a wall, take a moment. Don't laugh. Don't shrug it off. Don't assume it's nothing. Look at where they're looking. Listen for what they might be hearing. Watch their nose for the smallest twitch. Because in that quiet moment, your dog is doing something extraordinary. They are gathering information from a world we can barely perceive. They are processing sounds we cannot hear, smells we cannot detect, memories we have forgotten, sensations we don't even know exist. That stare isn't empty, it's full. Full of information, full of attention, full of the kind of deep awareness that only a dog can have. Your dog is not staring at a wall, they are listening to the secrets of your home in a language only they understand. And if you ever take the time to truly notice what they're noticing, you start to see something beautiful. You start to realize how much your dog has been paying attention to a world you walk through every day without ever really seeing. So tonight, when your dog goes still in front of a wall and looks at something invisible, kneel down beside them. Put your hand gently on their back. Be quiet with them for a moment. Because while you've been moving through your day, busy and distracted, your dog has been quietly standing guard over a reality you'll never fully understand. That's not weird, that's wonder. And it's been happening in your home, in front of your eyes, every single night. You just didn't know to look.